Right. Let's continue in notes 22. We're on number 3, and we're actually going to build a table of points to graph our first linear equation. Now, here's the linear equation. So y can be found by plugging each one of those x values into that equation. And I'm going to do it over here on the side. So I'll scoot that over a little bit. Let's start with the x of -2. If I plug that into my equation that's given, and I guess it's closer right there, it would say y equals 2 times, and again, the values that we're plugging in are x's. So I'm going to plug into this x value and find the y. So 2 times -2 is our first x minus 3. You just solve. 2 times -2 is -4 minus 3. Well, -4 minus 3, oh wait, was that that was, so it is -7. Let's plug in a -1. Y equals 2 times -1 minus 3. 2 times -1 is -2 minus 3, or my y value is -5 to finish that point. See, what we're doing is we're actually finishing off each one of these points. We'll be able to plot them and plot the equation of the line. You really only need 2 points when you're plotting the equation of a line, but doing more than 2, 3, 4, or 5 actually gives you more security that you got it correct. Y equals 2 times the x value we're plugging in this time is 0 minus 3. 2 times 0 is 0 minus 3, 0 minus 3. Our y value is -3. Finish off the last 2 at your seats. Pause the video if you need to, and then check your work. Now, once you've completed all of the points, we're going to plot them, just like we did on the rectangular coordinate planes before. Let's go plot each point. -2, so you're going to go to where x is -2, and then go down 7. Why down? Because the y is a -7. If it were a +7, we'd go up from there. Let's do the next point. -1, -5. And the next one, 0, -3. On the x-axis, down 1. 2 on the x-axis, up 1. If you did it right, you should see that they line up perfectly. And you've just drawn your first line. We've got a couple more to go through. Let's do them. And again, pause the video if you want to. Oh, this one printed kind of strange, didn't it? Not sure what happened there. Okay. We will draw our own. The y value can be found by plugging into this equation. So let's fill in our points, and then we'll draw our own axis if we have to. Hopefully yours printed better than mine did. Now the x, see on this one, we're going to plug in some x's and some y's, so we're going to have to pay attention. Let's plug in these 3 x's first. For an x of -2, y equals 1/2 times -2 plus 4. That's going to give me -2 over 2, which is -1 plus 4, which will give me a value of 3. When I plug the 0 in, and it's still an x, y equals 1/2 times 0 plus 4. Well, 1/2 times 0 is 0 plus 4 will give me a value of 4. Let's plug in the 6 now. Y, it's also an x. Y equals 1/2 of 6 plus 4. 1/2 times 6 is 3, plus 4 gives me a y value of 7. Now, these last two values are actually y's, aren't they? Let's plug in these y's. Oops. For a y of 0, that means you're going to plug it into where the y is. 0 equals 1/2 x plus 4. I'm going to move the 4. Let's see, I think I'm going to move the 1/2 x over to the other side. It's going to make it a negative 1/2 x is equal to 4. Now at this point I can either divide both sides by 1/2 or I can multiply by the least common denominator. You decide how you want to handle that. I'm going to divide both sides by a negative 1/2 because we know how to divide by fractions. Here the negative 1/2 will cancel. 4 divided by 1/2 is actually 4 times the reciprocal, which is negative 2 over 1. So my x value will be negative 8. Did that? No, I did that correct. Okay. Let's plug in the 6, a y of 6. So 6 is equal to 1/2 x plus 4. I'm going to start by moving the 4 over this time. When I subtract the 4 over, I get 2 is equal to 1/2 x. To get the x solved for, I'm going to divide both sides by 1/2. On the left, the 1/2s cancel. To divide 2 by 1/2, you actually take the 2 down and multiply by the reciprocal of the fraction you're dividing by. So x will be equal to 4. Now, I don't have any room, so I'm going to graph it right here. I'm just going to draw my own axis. You have one on your handout, so go ahead and graph it there. I'm going to need 8 units. Go ahead and graph it on your really pretty axis. I wish I had one. The next example has one, so we're okay. Let's see, the first point is negative 2 and go up 3. 0 and go up 4. 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, go up 7. Negative 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 0. 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 6. It doesn't matter, does it, which points you pick? They line up. That's pretty awesome. Now, let's do one more. And I have a graph this time. Okay, and again, pay attention to whether you're plugging in x's or y's, and we get to solve equations like we have been doing in previous sections. Let's start with an x of 0. I'm going to plug it in everywhere there's an x in the original equation, which is right here. 2 times 0 minus 3y equals negative 9. The 2 times 0 is 0, so I end up with negative 3y is negative 9. After dividing both sides by negative 3, you're going to get y equals 3. For an x of 3 next, 2 times the x of 3 minus 3y equals negative 9. This is 6 minus 3y equals negative 9. To solve for the y, I'm going to move the 6 over to the other side. Negative 3y is equal to negative 15. After dividing both sides by negative 3 to solve for y, we get y equals 5. Go ahead and turn off the video and see if you can, or pause the video and finish the table, and I'll do it right along with you. For an x of negative 6, we plug in, that's negative 12 minus 3y equals negative 9. I'm going to move the 12 over, so I end up with a negative 3y equals 3. After dividing both sides by a -3, we're going to get a y of -1. Now the next two I'm going to plug in are y's. For a y of 0, my equation was 2x plus 3y, which is now 0, and it wasn't plus. I made a mistake already. Let me fix that. Minus 3y, which is 0 now, equals -9. The 0 times the -3 becomes 0, so I get 2x is equal to -9. Or x will be equal to, after dividing both sides by 2, a -9/2. I'm going to plug in a y of 7. 2x minus 3 times 7 equals -9. That's 2x minus 21 equals -9. I'm going to move the 21 over to the other side, so I end up with, see, I don't know why I put that line in there. I get 2x equals, that's 12. After dividing both sides by 2, we're going to end up with an x of 6. Okay, we've got some points here. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to convert this -9/2 to a decimal or a a mixed number so I can tell what it is. When you do that, it's actually going to be -4.5 or -4.5. So that'll make it easier to locate. Now let's plot the 3 points. Go to where x is 0, up 3. That's our first point. Our second point, go to where x is 3, go up 5. Go to where x is -6, go down 1. Go to where x is -4.5. That's right between the -4 and -5. And 0. 6 will go up to 7. And it's so cool. You'll always get points that line up, and if you don't, it's a good check. I'll see you in the next section.